What's going on, guys? It's your boy Gio here, back at it again with another video, and today I'm going to be answering the question, how often do you need to wash your hair? And since it's commonly accepted that washing your hair too often is harmful, we're also going to be evaluating and diving deep into how true that statement actually is. So without further ado, let's get into it. Also, before I get started, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. I can't tell you how much it helps us out and motivates us to keep producing more content like this for you guys. As much as I'd like to be able to say every 4 days end of video and peace out, there is no unambiguous answer to this question since there are a lot of points that need to be taken into consideration. Some trichologists think that washing hair every day might be harmful, and allegedly frequently washing your hair can disrupt the activity of the sebaceous glands, which in turn can cause the hair to become dirtier much faster than usual. However, on the other hand, some specialists are sure that it is imperative to wash your hair every day, so go figure. Nah, but seriously, it is almost unrealistic to be able to give a direct answer to the question of how often you should be washing your hair. But luckily, I have broken it down into 3 factors that need to be taken into consideration to determine the frequency at which you should be washing your head. Skin type is one factor that needs to be taken into account. If your skin and hair are normal, and by normal I mean not too oily or not too dry, then you need to wash your hair twice a week. However, if you have oily skin, you should do it a little more often, like every other day. In turn, if you have dry hair, then washing it once a week should be sufficient enough. Style is another one, obviously, as the length of your hair determines how often you should wash it, and shorter hair requires more frequent washing, while longer hair requires less. The third factor is hair texture. This determines how quickly the sebum spreads from the roots along the hair follicles. Those who have curly hair can wash their head once a week, since curly hair slows down the spread of excess oil. Which kind of makes sense since oil will have to travel longer from the roots to the hair shaft. However, you also got to take into consideration someone who has wavy or straight hair. The exact same process happens much faster because oil in the scalp will have to flow with the path of least resistance and will have to flow down the hair strands much quicker rather than someone who has curly hair. So that being said, hair structure similar to mine will have to be washed 2 or 3 times a week. Most importantly, you shouldn't keep your hair greasy or dirty for extensive periods of time. Otherwise, a favorable environment for various bacterial and fungal infections appear on the scalp. This is why it is so important to choose your own personal hair wash cycle, because who wants a goddamn fungal or bacterial infection on their head? So the question, how often should I wash my hair, doesn't really seem that stupid anymore, does it? Also, something that is important to mention is that most fungal and bacterial infections lead to excess and possibly irreversible hair loss. So yeah, I can't stress this enough, people. Keep your head clean. Now, for people with oily hair wondering, can I wash my hair daily? Yes, you can, as often as necessary, only if you use a decent quality shampoo, preferably with no sulfate. And although I have advised against this in the past, in some cases the extra oil on your hair accumulated by the impurities of sebum may harm your hair and scalp more than washing it every day. As a matter of fact, extra sebum and oil are a breeding ground for bacteria, so I do advise you to wash your hair as it gets dirty, even if you have to wash your hair every day. On a side note, men produce more sebum than women, so they tend to have to wash their hair more often, which is perfectly natural. Teenagers also produce more sebum in comparison to older people. Another question people tend to have is, does washing your hair too much cause your hair to fall out? This is nothing more than a myth. Like I said before, in the cases of excess oil, washing your hair daily is perfectly fine. However, blow drying your hair isn't, as extreme temperature exposure to the hair follicles daily will cause them to become brittle and fall out eventually. This is obviously a worst case scenario, so try to use thermal protection if you have to repeat this process daily, or just let your hair dry out naturally. As for external factors, it could be very well that the amount of times you need to wash your hair is in direct correlation with the environment. After all, washing your hair doesn't only get rid of grease and oil, but also dust, dirt, dead skin cells, and so on. So obviously, densely populated areas where there are a lot of pollution, cars, and people in general are bound to have an effect on how often you may have to wash up. And finally, stress is another significant factor which affects the general condition of the hair. Depending on the individual, it can make your hair more oily or more dry. It can also cause shedding, and in some cases has been shown to trigger hair loss. This is of course dependent on the level of stress. However, if you are genetically prone to either one of these, stress can play a huge role in speeding up this process. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It really helps us out. And if you're looking for more tips on hair growth, beard care, as well as beard grooming, you can check out our website, HAIRGC. It'll be linked in the description box down below for anything and everything hair and beard related. My name is Gio, and as always, people, have an awesome day. I will see you next time.